somebody mentioned it to me. You got to be careful praying for people and you still smoking and drinking. One thing about a cigarette smoker, I know because I smoked 5 packs a day for a while. No time soon, years ago. And the cigarette smoke is so deceiving that you know about it because you do it, but you can't really smell it. Am I telling the truth? Same thing about alcohol. And so you gotta watch trying to get people free, and your bondages is so evident. Come on, so you gotta watch who you put in positions that ain't ready for it yet. Y'all don't hear me. You shouldn't want a position in the house of God if you ain't committed to God first. Huh? Listen, it's a, well, I ain't committed, so I just don't do it. No, you should get in a position where you can do it. Don't just cop out. You should want more. Look at somebody say, you should want more. And so at 40 years old, Moses is now on a mission to find out who he is. And so he leaves Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh finds out he is who he is. And Moses flees and he goes into what I call 40 years of training. You shouldn't want to do nothing unless you are trained. This is my Brother Stacy, this is my mindset. Elder Denise, this is my mindset. How can you want to lead something in church and you won't even come Tuesday night to sit up under the leader's instruction? You spend no time with the set man of the house who got the word of the Lord in his mind to start the work, but you want to do the work. And it ain't because you got to work. It ain't because you live far. That ain't everybody's situation. It's because you're lazy. And then lazy people want to lead people. Moses didn't just jump up and say, at 40 found out who he was and say, I'm going to lead God's people. No, he went to find out who he was. And you got a lot of people trying to lead people who don't know who they are. Come on, somebody. I ain't planning to say this, but I feel good. I only got points. I ain't got much notes. I got what I studied. Moses goes for 40 more years. God cultivates. He cultivates. Listen, every deliverance is planned by God. And every true great leader goes through a process. Nobody jumps up and starts operating on people. Dallas want to be a pediatrician. She's in school right now. I wish she wasn't in school. I wish she could have just went the first semester and graduated. Then I would have to pay each semester. And I told her when she started, I said, listen, I went to college. Mommy had minimum say over my college education. I went to college. My mom really didn't know much about education in school. And I went to college. I said, I went. I got my own loans. I worked to pay part of my own tuition where it needed this and that. Or I swindled somebody out of some money. You know, but I did that. I'm the one that got to pay back my student loan. I said, you ain't going to college. You being sent. Listen, it's a happy style. And you being sent. I'm paying that money every month. I'm sending you. You're not there for extracurricular. Because contrary to popular belief, extracurricular means after you get your curricular, then you can do extra. Some people let the kids do extra without doing curricular. And you set yourself for a monster later on. Extra means extra. So I said, you got extra money? No. I got money. This bill, that bill. No, extra. Huh? Extracurricular. That means after the curriculum, I'm mapped out, I can do this and that. And I said, you're being sent because somebody is paying for it. Everybody in here, I'm going to talk about it next week, you're right there. Everybody in here who's born again, you ain't born again because you wanted to be. Every gift you got, you don't have that gift because you just got it. You got that gift because God gave it to you. You are where you are because God blessed you to be there. And so therefore you owe God to do his will. And I was talking to this guy from India yesterday. He does all the work. And some couple people I know owe him some money. And he said, Pastor Alex, my wife listened to it. She said, Pastor Alex, I'm going to tell you, I don't know why they won't pay me. Did he say that, Debbie? Did you hear him say that? He said, I don't know why they don't want to pay me. They're supposed to be men of God, and I don't understand it. I said, I don't know. He said, I really don't understand why they don't pay me. And he told me like 7 months ago, he was going to pay me. And I've been looking for it, but I tell you this. I don't say anything to him. I'm a patient man. He said, if I don't get it now, I'll get it in the day of judgment. Then that's what he said. He blew me away. He said, I'll get it on the day of judgment. I said, what are you talking about? He said, on the day of judgment, he will have to give me some of his alms. He will have to pay me his alms for what he owes me. And he will go into eternity without having some of those. I will get it one day. Everybody tells you, everyone is a patient man. And then I thought about this scripture. I said, man, that's so true. The Bible says some men's sins are open, but other men's sins follow into the grave. And you think you ain't going to pay, but brother man and honey woman, you're going to pay one day. Think you ain't? Me, myself, I'd rather serve now. Moses is raised up. He goes 40 years in the wilderness. And then, guess what? Moses, before he comes to deliver these people, Moses comes, and when he says, Pharaoh, let my people go, Moses is 80 years old. 80 years old. I took back everything I said when I read this. I said, Lord, forgive me for saying I'm going to retire at 75. At 80, we're going to be taking, I remember what Pastor Bill said, at 80, me and Debbie going to be taking trips. We're going to be dropped in a parachute into a Hawaiian secluded island. I just got that from Bill Holmes. No, Moses is 80. And he goes and says, let my people go. He goes to Pharaoh, and listen, the first pronunciation of let my people go is 80 years old. But from the time he declared let my people go until his people were let go, it all happened in that same year. And God told me to tell you this, I prophesy that this is your year. Come on, somebody. This is your year to get your deliverance. Oh yeah, we call it in spiritual warfare a behemoth. A behemoth is something that's massive. But man, let me tell you something. When God moved on a behemoth, listen, what it took 80 years to do, God will wipe it out in a year. When it took 40, come on somebody, what you've been wrestling with all your life, God said it's going to happen. And I dare you to stand up and turn around real quick. When God said this is your year, if you believe it, this is your year. Yeah, people are talking about you, they've been ridiculing you, they've been criticizing you, but let me tell you something, my year is this year. I'm coming out. Come on, somebody. Listen, I'm coming out with the blessings from my enemy. When they finally let Israel go, the Egyptians were so glad after all the plagues that came down on them. They was giving them money and clothes and property. Here, take this, just leave, please, just leave. And take this, just please leave. Remember your brother Alfred, this little brother Alfred in Arkansas, he went and they had all you can eat pizza and spaghetti. And they went in, somebody from Arkansas, know what I'm talking about? All you can eat pizza and spaghetti. And they said they went in, the church, a group of people went in, about 5 people from the church, and they went in with brother Alfred for pizza and spaghetti. He said they sat down at the table, and they was bringing juice and bread and, salads. They try to give you the filler foods, you know what I mean? And they said they put the juice on the table, and brother Alfred said, I don't want no juice. Then they put the salad on, brother Alfred said, I don't want no salad. They said they put the bread on the table. He said, give me no bread, pizza and spaghetti. They said they started bringing that pizza and spaghetti out. Brother Alfred never stopped eating. They said 2 hours he was still eating. He said all of a sudden the waiter came over to Brother Alfred, whispered in his ear. And then Brother Alfred got up and he walked in the back and then you see Brother Alfred no more. He said, after they saw Brother Alfred a couple days ago, said, Brother Alfred, where did you go? He said, oh, they gave me all my money back just to leave. Huh? Brother Alfred was eating them out of house and home. But how about God saying that the enemy's going to give you back everything that he stole from you just to get out of his faith, just to stop tormenting him with your patience, with your long suffering. You loving people that should be loved. You doing good to people that should be done good to. You are befriending your enemy, but God said your enemy going to get so sick and tired of you that they're going to give you everything that you want just to get you out of there. 80 years. Look at somebody say the best is yet to come. Point number 2. You might not like this point. Verse 9. But we're going to get through it. But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen. God re-hardened Pharaoh's heart again. Suppose God said, I got the glory, y'all coming up out of there. But suppose God said, that glory felt good, I want some more. So I'm going to harden his heart again. Huh? Remind me of when the guy said we're going to sell us the building. Everything was good. Whatever he needs to do, we're going to do it. Oh, yeah, I'm excited. People sold into the vision. I said, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. It's going to take this amount of time. And then he comes back and says, well, I kind of changed my mind. I need this to happen. Huh? And we went through that whole process. And then last Friday, he finally signed an agreement and said, but what happens when God turns the tables again? I ain't say your enemy, I say God. Listen, patience is a virtue. You know what that means, right? Patience is power. And so he goes and says, okay, guess what? I want you to pursue them. They got gold, they got jewelry, they got cattle, they got all kinds, and they walking out wealthy. All of a sudden, they hear some chariots, and they see some dust kicking up. And you know it's always somebody looking to see what's happening. Hey, they're coming for us. And guess what? They start to complain. Here we go. Verse number 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore, number 1, afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Listen to this, verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell you in Egypt? Saying, let us alone. Remember this. The cry of the demons is let us alone. That's what we talked about last week. Let us alone means don't bother us and leave us all together. Didn't we tell you to leave us alone? And that we may serve the Egyptians? Would have been better us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. Some people would rather stay broke, single and evil, mad and discouraged, than to go through what they need to go through to get to where they need to get to. Yes. And so point number 2 is this. Stop complaining. Y'all know y'all ain't want to hear that point. I was doing, somebody said, you doing good till you got there. Listen to this. The definition of complaining. And Brother Nate, complaining is a demon spirit. Complaining is a spirit that gets in your head. And when it gets in your head, it tells you to speak against everything that God is saying. Listen to the definition of complaining. To express dissatisfaction, pain or uneasiness, resentment or grief and fault. It's cool if you pain and uneasiness and resentment and grief and fault finding stay within you. It's complaining when it comes out of your mouth. I've been there. How many been there before? Be honest. It means to tell of one's pains and ailments, or to make a formal accusation. Now listen, this is also in complain, because within one of the definitions or the synonyms of complain, this word comes up, nag. And this is what